Howdy. First time here, I welcome you. For those returning, always welcome and glad to have you back. Last week, we were hanging out with a guy named Claude. This week, we're going to travel over 600 kilometers to a town in East Midlands, England, and meet with a guy that you may or may not have ever heard of. A couple of weeks ago, I got a very nice note from a couple that live in this area suggesting that I might find this particular artist interesting. And after doing a little bit of exploring, I wonder how I was not aware or somehow he slipped my memory because after revisiting, I can see him in a whole new light. Yeah, that was bad. But anyway, today we're going to talk about a man from Derby, Joseph Wright of Derby. Joseph Wright was born in Derby in 1734, and other than having a couple of times in London, he studied under the school of Thomas Hudson, and he made a trip to Italy for a couple of years later on in his life. He pretty much spent his entire life in Derby. He was a great painter of portraits, landscapes, just about everything in between. I came across an article that I found interesting. It was written in 1776 by a guy named John Hope. It was called Essay on Painting, and where he basically said that his feeling of Joseph Wright, he admired him for his variety. And he was quoted as saying, "Take his famous blacksmith shop, one of his candlelight pieces, and one of his landscapes, place them together in one room, and I defy any man to say that by the coloring he could discern them to be the productions of the same hand." And where Mr. Hope mentions the Candlelight series is basically the period of work that I'm going to focus on here in this video. It was pretty much after in between his main portrait paintings and his landscape paintings after he got back from Italy. And before I show a couple of paintings, I did want to note that I wish I lived a little closer to London right now, because right now the National Gallery of London is hosting an exhibition of Wright of Derby from the Shadows, and I'll put a link in the description below for anybody that lives around the area and gets a chance to go. I'm sure it'd be pretty cool, and if you do go, be sure and drop me a comment and let me know how it was. Love to hear. Before we start talking about the candlelight paintings, I wanted to show a couple of portraits and landscapes just to show the variety that Mr. Wright did have. The first one here shows a couple of his portraits, one being more of an indoor studio type of Mr. Jedediah, and the other one being an outdoor couple commission of a Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Coltman. Then we move over to his landscapes, and you can see the one on the left is the Italian landscape. I take it that he got inspiration from his couple years in Italy. And he also painted, daytime landscapes like that one, but he also liked moonlit landscapes. And he was often said that he liked to get away in the evenings to paint. Starting off the Candlelight series, this one here, Two Girls Dressing a Kitten by Candlelight, it just kind of exemplifies the whole series. It's simply because, one, it's candlelight, and number two, it's just, something that the kids might be doing in the evening. I have a couple here about, academy looking at statues and various things, and they're more of a academic type paintings, but they just show that, the subjects being revealed by the light. This next one is called The Alchemist, and it's about the discovery of phosphorus and how he did, at that particular moment. He also painted, various, common people just working. Here's an iron forge, just everyday people. This is what separated him from Caravaggio in that period of time, where they were all painting religious figures and mythological figures, and here Wright was really into the Industrial Revolution and just everyday people. The Orrery is probably his most famous painting, I think, is from what I could read. And to me, this painting is the series itself. The light's the center, various people doing various things around. Just it was like a snapshot from time. The light that Wright used, he certainly didn't invent it. He wasn't the first one to paint it. Caravaggio was painting it over 150 years before in Italy. But by no means was he copying Caravaggio, because Caravaggio often painted more of a directional light coming from off frame, and Caravaggio's paintings were far more dramatic, often confrontational, where Wright's paintings are more observational, a little quieter, and he let the light almost reveal the subjects. And, this is what I get from this series. Last week, Monet helped show me my Giverny in the streets with the daylight and the sunlight, and not only the light in the subjects, but the envelope in between them. But when the light of the day turns to darkness and the artificial light illuminates the shadows, Joseph Wright shows me my Derby. Monet showed me how to let the light reveal what is between the subject and myself, but Wright shows me how to let the light reveal the subject, how to find my light first, and just let it direct me to a subject I may have otherwise never seen. This was probably my favorite one of the evening. It was, three ladies looking for flowers for the Tet holiday, which we're in right now. And it's, the light on the faces is just great with the rim light on the left, but just the way the light hits all the little plastic bags around the flowers, it's something I never would have noticed before. And I just think it's really beautiful. Hope you enjoy it. Joseph Wright was called many things: master of light, master of darkness. He was the first one to capture the essence of the Industrial Revolution and the Age of Enlightenment. But to me, he's just showing us what it's like to spend an evening in Derby with the light they had in the 1700s. And that's what I take from this, and I hope you can take a little bit too. It's just, expanding your creativity doesn't mean you have to go to a beautiful place or find some exotic location. It just means finding the light and using the light you have and letting it show you what you're supposed to be looking at. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed revisiting Wright of Derby with me, and if it was your first time, I hope you enjoyed it as well. And if it was your first time, leave me a note. I'd love to hear. And thank you again to a Miss Louise and a Mr. Allen from near Derby for a wonderful suggestion. And as always, let your light lead, follow it, and create something real.